Welcome back. Lowboat Project episode 53. I am Mike Robertson, joined as always by Mike Taylor. Mike, how successful does this podcast have to get before you can have your own gentleman's gentleman?
I'm hoping the ceiling for that's pretty low, because I tell you what, wouldn't be bad. I was thinking about that too. I'm like, man, I wouldn't mind having a gentleman working for this gentleman. It might be all right.
I feel like there were a lot of unanswered questions about that whole storyline, along with the other two storylines in this episode, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But was it essentially Road Butler? Is that what a gentleman's gentleman is?
It seemed more than just a road. It seemed more than a butler type situation, only because of the role that Perkins played. It's almost like he had, I don't know, like he had some greater responsibility for him or something. It definitely didn't feel like Perkins worked for him. Like it was almost like Perkins was assigned to him by God knows who.
I almost wonder, I meant to look this up at some point. There are certain things that are so, in my mind, current day, ridiculous, that I just assume they're plot things, right? And so I don't really think about it. But I wonder if this was an actual thing, and was more like a common parlance in the late 70s, that gentleman's gentleman would have been like, oh, obviously. Obviously, it's something the guy has.
Yeah, I don't
double G?
Well, and he seemed very prideful about his position. It wasn't like, I'm a lowly blah, blah, blah. Like, I think he took pride in his role of gentleman's gentleman.
Based on who played the gentleman's gentleman, I have and had no doubt that you would be in the tank for him. So.
Oh, 100%. I think it's really Colonel Klink. Like, no one knows how he got away. He's just, if you put a monocle on him, he looks just like Colonel Klink.
I definitely have Klink in here a few times. I was just like, so I could shorthanded it.
I thought he did a great job. I go back to Hogan's Heroes, right? We had Colonel Hogan, we had Newcastle, right? We had Doc, who dressed like LeBeau, which is close enough for my book. I know we'll never get Carter, right? Maybe you get Sergeant Schultz, which, funny enough, played by a Jewish man, was always funny to me. And then, what a bunch of good actors. Now, aside the LeBeau, the whole, but I mean, Richard Dawson was great. Bob Crane, come on, speaks for itself. I thought Perkins was great in this episode. Amazing.
Okay, well, we will talk.
No, you didn't think.
We will talk about that and other things.
Really?
Talk about. We'll get to it.
Wow. All right.
Love Boat Season 3, Episode 2 or 3, or if you're watching on Paramount Plus, Season 2 for some reason.
Episode 48 or some
What are we doing, Paramount Plus? Like, the date's in there correctly. I
didn't have to think, and I was like, play next episode, and my wife and I are watching it, and I go, this is not the right episode. Nope. Unless Adam Rich and the whole cast got kernsed and replaced with a different set of portals.
Yeah.
I was like, what's episode 2?
This is the episode that actually made us be a little more cognizant of telling you what's the episode we're doing next at the end of the show, because it is a little confusing. But that's always your safe bet. The grass is always greener. 3 stages of love and oldies but goodies. Before we start, quick note, we're just dropping this in here as a reminder. Leave a rating or review on all your podcast apps. We're trying to get the show out there to more people. We are always pleasantly surprised by the numbers that we get, but ratings and reviews help. And if you want to stick a question in there or comment on a recent episode or future Stubby award,
whatever it is.
Whatever, talk to Mike about Hogan's Heroes, suggest a bonus episode, topic, stick it in there. So these are not plugs. That's Mike's domain. Just throwing it out there before we start.
We'd love to hear from you
about this episode. This episode aired on September 22nd, 1979. The synopsis: Julie envies her friend Tina, who gave up a career for marriage. Mike annoys his girlfriend Robin with constant talk about love's stages, and a romance between seniors Nora and Philip is disrupted by her flighty daughter and his stuffy valet. Now, valet is a good term. I know what valet
I
is.
like valet is. It's like slick, you know,
or like baby doll or something.
Baby doll, a valet. I get that. James J. Dillon. I get that. Sure. That makes sense to me now.
So we're in September of 79, which means we're in a new television season. And there are a lot of series premieres going on here as we walk into what else is on.
I like to call this. I like to call this. Guess what got canceled first?
Yeah,
when we hear about these new shows.
I actually had to curtail myself a little bit, or we would be here like all night. There were so many different things, and we'll get to some of them. Apologies to Detective School, which I'm sure we'll get to at some point. On ABC at 8:00, the night leads off with The Ropers. This is the second and final season of The Ropers.
Greatest TV theme song ever, by the way. Please Google that.
I know you've mentioned before. Tonight's episode, The Ropers are knocked for a loop when a young man shows up with his mother's diary claiming that Stanley is his father. Not that.
Interesting that they don't use DNA. They use diary entries.
Oh, they didn't really have
paternity. Wow.
I feel like diary technology was probably more reliable back then.
Apparently.
Well, I mean, you'll be able to tell if it's his kid because, you know, he'll just be maudlin.
Oh, it'll be painfully obvious. They'll do the mirror thing. What? Yeah.
So normally after Love Boat on ABC, we've had Fantasy Island, and I don't know if this is temporary or if Fantasy Island has gone somewhere else. It would be odd, but tonight at 10:00, the series premiere of a show that ran for a long time, Heart to Heart.
Ooh, I like
Robert Wagner.
Like that. Robert Wagner.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a great show.
So
was it Stephanie Powers?
Yes, and they were real life married. Yeah. So this sounds weird because they're on the same show and they're married, but like Robert Wagner would be too big a deal, or he would have to be like on a season premiere kind of episode, or
I don't know. I mean, I almost thought that Robert Wagner was too big for Heart to Heart, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because it's not as though they needed extra publicity to have that show coming out based on who's on the show. So ABC's like, that's a waste. I would love to see Robert Wagner on there, but I think that's a big get for them. But
I almost wonder if it's like
they're in the ABC family,
like it's a season 7, you know, the boats in Japan or one of those fancy 2-parters. You know, it's like
something.
Actually, well, you know what else? Maybe Robert Wagner doesn't need to be on a boat. Maybe that brings up stuff.
I wasn't going to say it.
I don't think Christopher Walken's going to be on this boat either.
No, unless they bring him on to do swimming lessons for the crew. You know, all right. First of all, everyone put on a sweater and skip dinner. All right, moving on.
On CBS, there's a real movie that I had not heard of, but you are a fan of one of these actors, so maybe you have. Lucky Lady.
Lucky Lady. Is it a horse racing movie?
Well, it stars Burt Reynolds, along with Gene Hackman and Liza Minnelli.
Whoa!
This is from 1975, so this is
a fun movie.
Prime Reynolds.
Is it
the plot? 1975 film starring those three as a trio of rum runners during the Prohibition era in the 1930s, and
always with
they engage in a menage a trois outside of business hours.
Oh, jeez. First of all, I just want to say Burt Reynolds, he's in another sort of like bootlegging movie called Gator, which I was a fan of in the 70s as well. I was going to half jokingly say, oh, is it about, driving, Coors Light to Denver, or is this about running booze in the Southeastern? Always running booze and
booze, doesn't he?
Always.
But the one that I've been hinting about.
Sure.
Is the 2-hour season premiere on NBC of a little show called Chips.
Ooh, okay. 2 hours of Chips I can get into. All right.
You might be thinking 2 hours of Chips. I mean, what are we possibly going to do? As we've discussed last season, we're not even sure they're cops anymore.
We don't know what they're doing. They just, they wear tan and they drive motorcycles. One has black gloves and one has yellow gloves. That's about it.
I could give you 100 guesses and you would not get the synopsis.
Aliens?
What
Aliens? Vampires? Something crazy? Wait. 2 hours is big. Maybe they're traveling. Maybe they've taken their motorcycles avec Paris. I don't know. They went to.
You think they're in Alaska?
They could be in Alaska.
From last week. So.
And instead of chips, and maybe they're in France, but they're in England. They're called crisps.
This feels like a direct attack.
They're in Alaska
on the Love Boat. Tonight's episode features a roller disco party with over 60 leading television stars, including Loretta Swit, LeVar Burton, B. Arthur, and Bruce Jenner.
Wait, they're all roller skating?
That's all I got.
Is it only the celebrities get to roller? Because B. Arthur on roller skates is a funny mental image. I got to be honest with you.
I didn't look that far. But I did look to see that it is available on Amazon Prime for free. So
okay, that might be it. Because then I'm like, why are motorcycle policemen patrolling a roller derby full of 70s TV stars, such as?
So
I don't get it.
I think I saw the Ponch and John or somehow like the planning committee or some bullshit. Like it's just.
Oh boy.
Anyway, that
I
feels like. We have to do something to get to the boat. So
I mean,
that's basically a Love Boat episode. It sounds like so.
That's either a what else is on or just for personal fun. That just sounds like a doozy right there. So either way, we're watching.
I just hope. Well, first of all, 60 stars in 2 hours. That has to be like one line and you're gone, right?
They're quick. They're quick. It's like, I don't know how you. Plus, there's commercials. It's a TV movie, so it's not a.
Plus, I mean, I assume there's an extended roller dancing. Like,
have you ever seen B. Arthur on skates?
You think Disco Joey's involved?
Wow, is Norman Lear?
What is the official death? What is the official death of disco, right? It's this. Wasn't Disco Demolition Derby this summer? Like 1979?
I don't know. I mean, that was just like a gimmick, but I thought they were bringing it back. I thought it was like a retro bringing it back. I thought that, I don't know what killed, was it it had to be the music that killed, but who was the music that killed disco?
But like, when are we?
I'd say 81.
81's MTV. It's definitely dead by then. Yeah. Is this 80. The last television season of disco? I guess.
I bet we get one more. I bet we get one more.
Creeps into season 4
because we have going to be a little behind. Trying to like keep with the times.
Because we didn't. Did we get a little? I mean, we got a lot of weird dancing this week, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, we did.
You're right.
We had I'd say about 80. Yeah. 80, like mid 80.
80 probably 80. I think you're right. 81 is definitely like no further.
Yeah, then you want to be, then it's like Duran Duran. You know what I mean? It's that 80s music, which is very different from the 70s.
My hope on that episode, if we do watch it, is that Estrada brings out the sax.
Oh, I can only hope.
And that Swit plays the Russian lady.
Just starts pounding vodka. With John Baker.
Disco vodka.
Let's go.
All right, the stars of the episode of Love Boat that we are talking about today. Some sad ends for a lot of these people.
Oh no.
Let's start with the 8 is Enough crew. We have 2 members of 8 is Enough, which I think brings us to 5 members of 8 is Enough, which I learned today is actually 10 cast members. It's 8 kids and the parents. So,
okay. So
I'm not on 8 is Enough project. So
I've not. They have not asked me to be on that.
Yeah.
Oh,
so we're halfway done.
Halfway done with 8 is Enough.
Yeah.
At 4. All right.
Right. Adam Rich plays Brian Phillips. Adam Rich. I don't know that I've really seen him in anything, honestly, because I've never really seen 8 is Enough.
He should have been Kearns, Mike. This was a Kearnsing that should have happened. Adam Rich brought nothing to this episode. He didn't cry on command like that child last year that was Kearnsed. Adam Rich presented drawings that someone else drew for him of cast members, and then they chuckled. You did nothing, Adam Rich. Ugh. And he got
Adam Rich definitely had some issues as a child star. He was definitely one of those people that you always hear about as a star-crossed child actor. He died of a accidental fentanyl overdose in his 50s.
Jeez.
Co-star of both this Love Boat episode and Age is Enough was Lane O'Grady, who played Robin. This is her first of two. She's also in a two-parter next season. She is the would-be medical student daughter in Age is Enough. She died at 46 of a drug overdose.
Jesus.
So, yeah. And if you just really want me to finish off the bring you down...
Yes, please, I guess. I mean, let's finish it.
Nora Knox was played by Amanda Blake. Amanda Blake is best known as Miss Kitty on Gunsmoke. She appeared in 635 episodes of Gunsmoke.
Holy crap. Holy crap. I had no idea.
We're not doing Gunsmoke Project.
Oh, thank God we're not doing the Gunsmoke Project. Unless it's a 5-minute. How long are their episodes? 7 minutes? No?
It looked like a half hour. But they ran from 1954 to 74, which is crazy.
Wow.
So, she passed away in the late 80s. She was a big time smoker apparently, and had oral surgery that led to a blood transfusion issue, and she died of AIDS actually, which is very sad. So just a terrible list of endings.
Series of events too.
Yeah. Let's perk it up with some information about people I don't know. Joan Hackett played Tina Phillips. This is her only boat. Barry Sullivan plays Philip Schaefer. This is his only boat. But let's talk about the people we do know. Werner Klempner as Perkins, who also played Colonel Klink. Obviously, Mike Taylor, huge favorite. This is his only boat appearance, which I was a little surprised.
That. I do love Hogan's Heroes, so I apologize if I am biased in any way. I just love that show. I think it's like I think it's a perfect sitcom. So I am definitely biased in the for Mr. Klemper.
Another familiar face was Eddie Mecca as Mike, first of his 3 appearances. He'll be back the next 2 seasons. He, of course, was the big ragu on Laverne and Shirley, which is our 3rd, right? Barry Keys, Julie's mom, and him. 3rd, we haven't gotten Laverne or Shirley or Lenny or Squiggy.
And they did that thing with them that you hate where they just gave him a first name.
You know, I was going to bring it up as we go. This episode did a terrible job of actually giving you the people's names in the first scene.
Yep.
Because I usually wait. When I'm doing the notes, I usually wait to refer to them until their characters have been referred to.
Like, you got to introduce the character before you can refer to the character. Right.
And I
this
think
was
I 2 of the 7 people got introduced or something like that.
I don't even think they used his name till he popped his head out of the pool. I
think you might be right. Last person, and the person herself was a terrible character, Karen Morrow as Daphne Knox. This is her first of 2 appearances. I wanted to highlight her other appearance. Feel free to turn away if you don't want to be spoiled for season 6. But I did want to bring it up because if this is what we have to look forward to in season 6, we are going to be okay, because this episode is loaded. Her other episodes includes returning stars, Donna Pesco, who is the Moon Expert's fiance.
Okay, all right.
Peter Marshall, Creep himself.
Robot.
Along with Betty White.
Oh, wow.
Carol Channing. And a robot.
Oh, we were asking about a robot last week. That's super exciting. Oh, it's not some stupid Frank Valley robot either. I bet you it's a real robot.
It's not Frankie Valli as a robot.
Yeah, or as a robot. Oh, it's funny that Peter Marshall's on an episode with a robot. That's kind of funny how that.
No,
or
you're
is it Lee
thinking of
Marshall?
no, you're thinking of oh shit. Gene Rayburn was the
Gene
robot.
Rayburn, stupid robot.
Peter Marshall was the smooth talking sex addict. So.
Hello. Hello. Yeah.
Anything before we get on the boat?
Yeah, I just want to make a comment about Karen Moreau, whatever it is.
Monroe.
I watched this episode a few times, and I watched it the first time with my wife, and she and I came to the same conclusion. It really felt like Karen Moreau was doing almost a Carol Burnett impression throughout this episode. Like from her entrance, and I don't know, it was just weird.
It was a lot. It was a lot.
Was a lot, man.
Yeah. I mean,
that was just she just seemed, yeah, I don't know. She was a lot. Yeah. Not oof,
absolutely
something to think about.
Pointless storyline. Like it was just awful.
There was no, and I got to tell you, like the fact that it's 2 for 2 with Olds getting married. Boom. We got, the common man, the first episode, and then we got another set of Olds getting married. That's 2 for 2. Something to think about.
We talked about this, I think, we talked about it last season or the season before. It's like the Olds are the ones who should get married quick, right?
I would think. I mean, based on, not to be, but you would think. I mean, you'd have less to,
availability,
less to lose time wise. I don't know. But you would think or you'd think maybe it's the opposite. Maybe somebody at that age is probably like, screw that. I just got my house looking the way I want it. Look, I don't want to do that. I have all my knickknacks out. I don't want to deal with that.
Should we, since we're talking about this, should we keep a running tally on engagements and wedding?
Yeah.
So that's 3.
Yes. And I think we need to next episode think about a ballpark figure that our projections for the season.
Because we're going 3, right? We had 2.
Well, how many people last week? 2 got married?
Well, 2 marriages, right?
Right.
And then this week we had 1.
Right. 1 marriage.
We had 1 engagement.
1 engagement.
Okay. So that's 3.
I wonder if you could almost count on an engagement or a wedding.
We shouldn't count, maybe 2 separate categories, but we shouldn't count throwaways. Like if they had said that Daphne at the end was getting engaged or something like that, that wouldn't.
I don't care about that.
We got to see both characters.
Yeah. Okay. Exactly. Don't call it a wedding unless we see the wedding.
Right. Don't call it an engagement unless we know the character. Right. Exactly.
Right.
Very exciting. This is a very exciting development.
Just
can we get to 20? Is that low?
Oh, I think we'll get to 20 easily. I mean, Mike, we'll be at 2, 3 after 2 engagements, 1 wedding.
Yeah.
No, 2 weddings and 1 engagement. So we're
right.
2.
We're ahead of a 1 a game pace at this point.
How many episodes this season? What is it, like
25?
25?
25, I think, yeah.
I definitely think we'll get to 20 in one of those. Will it be
25 with
engagements?
25 with 3 2-parters and a 90 minutes. So,
jeez. Oh, we're gonna there's gonna be 150 weddings this season. Jeez, it's called the wedding book.
Hopefully, all those 2-parters are the odd numbered episodes.
Let's go over. I'm going with the over.
We also have another category that we might have to keep track of based on this week, but we'll get to that. So, let's get on the boat. And we start with a young couple, and this is what I was talking about earlier. They were not named initially, but Mike and Robin are celebrating their always important 7.5-month dating anniversary by hitting the boat.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you've got $39 each, it's not really that big of it is a bit of a jump on the gun type celebration there.
So they don't live together, as is established later.
Well, no, that'd be that's step 2. Right. Go ahead.
7.5 months. I guess to go on a vacation, I wouldn't think of it, but the boat just seems like a bigger deal than just going down the shore or something.
I wouldn't even think of going on a cruise with somebody for, like the financial like
Oh,
obligation
the boat was expensive or cheap. I don't even know if the boat was pricey this week because
that's a
Perkins and all
terrible.
were rich.
Well, you also seven. That's nothing. That's maybe a year anniversary. Even then, I think that's a lot.
Yeah,
That's just they should have. I don't know. 7 months is just weird to me.
it seems fraught with danger,
They don't
which
even
was
know each
proven.
other.
Mike, who is the big ragu, in case you're scoring at home, says that they are in stage 1, which always seems to go fast, and they can't keep their hands off each other.
I didn't. I was surprised because the big ragu just doesn't seem like a numbers guy to me. That's all.
He only got up to 4 or
Yeah,
5.
yeah,
To be
that's all.
fair,
Well, Stubing can't count to what? Same thing. They
speaking
should
of
get together
Stubing,
and count.
him and Doc are doing. They do this every now and then. These bits where they're like old ghosts in a Valentine's Day movie, where they're just like watching love or whatever. But they comment on the virtues of young love. Doc hits with it's even better to participate in. So
Interesting thing I learned this week about Captain Stubing. So the actor that played Captain Stubing, he was 5'8" and 3/4,
really,
which really shocked me. I didn't really care how tall he was, but it just
that's
changed my
very short.
frame. Yeah, because I always had the impression he was taller than the rest of the crew.
Yeah,
So that means
they
there's some
doing
little people
boxes.
there. I don't know. Then I'm like, is Doc taller than the captain? But if he's only 5'8" and 3/4, it just really threw me.
Wow,
You know
that's
what I
very.
mean?
I'm not saying I thought he was 6'5", but I definitely would have said
No, but I
six
didn't
feet or
think
something.
something, right? Because then I don't know, it's weird.
That is weird. You know what it is though? It's hard to tell how tall somebody is when they're wearing those tube socks.
That's why they do it. Is to throw off the whole. It's
Elongate him.
just to change the perception.
Doc goes from his zinger about young love. He runs across the lobby so he can help out this woman who seems to be a little lost.
Mm-hmm.
And she's actually just waiting for her daughter, who is the one who actually made the reservations. So the doctor of the ship finds her room accommodations, or tries to at least. But man, this daughter, she's
just
been married
a hot mess, dude.
so many times, Mike, that her mom doesn't even know what name to look under the reservation for.
Is her name
Crazy.
Bricker? That's what
That
he
was
said.
funny.
That
was
was
funny.
hilarious. Although
That was funny. And they gave it like a musical sting too.
That was good. It was good. I was surprised that Bricker rushed over to help this woman. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm not guessing her age, but in my opinion, she was sort of out of that Doc striking range. I don't know.
I guess she could have been as old. Probably not, though. I was going to say, is she as old as the nose lady's mom?
Maybe.
He hasn't gone super young in a while.
Well, because they're twins. He can't physically go that young anymore. Look what they did to him.
Ruined him.
He can't. They hurt him.
So it turns out that the reservation is not under Daphne Mitchell, Daphne Leffler, Daphne McClure, Daphne Tyndall, or Daphne Bjorkenlund.
I love that you wrote those down. That's fantastic.
It's under Daphne Knox, which is her maiden name, and her mom's name is Nora Knox, which again was not said in the scene.
If anybody should have gone hyphen, it should have been this lady. Good Lord.
Oh, that would have been great. That would have improved the character immensely.
Oh, just this whole long list of hyphen names would have been great. Yeah, I agree.
While looking for the reservations, Daphne left her boxes of wigs, John Ritter, on top of a wheelchair guy.
Yeah, because that's where they go. That's where they go. I know enough not to put, like my wife has like a couple nice expensive purses. I know enough not to, like, if we're at a restaurant, to put those on the floor, right?
Yeah.
But I would also put those boxes on the floor instead of putting it on some disabled person. Excuse me. Not a word was said. They just piled hat boxes They don't know if those legs are lifeless. They don't know.
Also, I think we kind of talked about this in that episode with John Ritter where he stole the wig box, but it's like, I understand it's 1979, but like there's not better transportation technology for wigs. Wigs are not that big, right? I mean, you should be able to stuff those babies in a sack or something.
I bet you because you want to like keep it styled too.
I guess.
Maybe they're so styled that it's like, don't move.
It seems incredibly inconvenient.
Especially to go on a cruise with multiple wigs.
Plus, did she even change her hair? Like,
I don't know. Somebody did call her bald headed though, and it made me giggle.
Well, it was Perkins.
Yeah, Perkins just.
It's Perkins here.
Bald headed daughter.
So
yeah.
This leads to Perkins, the gentleman's gentleman of the wheelchair man, being offended and going back and forth with Daphne, and this is where she calls her a bald lady because she had all these hat boxes.
So funny.
The fight kind of dissolves, but then Philip Schaefer, because again, nobody's name is given in these scenes.
We don't know who the hell's,
Yeah, tells Perkins, if I were you, Perkins, I'd ask for 2 out of 3 falls. So it's like...
Barry Sullivan's out there swinging. He's getting his lines in.
So Perkins rolls Philip out there. And that's the other thing, too. We have a Philip, and here coming up, we have Tina Phillips. Like, come on, guys. You're not helping me at all. This was a tough one to get back into the notes flow, I will say.
And I have to have them up as we're talking about them because they all just kind of blended in there. Nobody had a...
And again,
it was just like a bunch of white ladies. It was just like, all right, white lady one. I don't know her name.
I feel like we make fun of a lot of stuff this show does, but we've never made fun of the opening scene establishing who the people are. It just helps. The parking lot scenes we always loved and stuff like that.
They say a name.
Right. This is the worst version of this.
I agree. I agree.
So,
they didn't say anything. Like they would have been like, don't put your boxes on Philip Schaefer's legs.
Right. Nobody puts a box on Philip Schaefer.
Just something. Yeah.
All right. The one explanation we do get is Tina Phillips. Who enters the boat and is excited to see Julie. That's right. It's another Julie friend. This time she's traveling with her son, Brian, not, quote, that old husband of yours, Mac. So they were really doing exposition in this one. They put all the exposition in this storyline.
I didn't like this. I was physically uncomfortable, and you already know where I'm going to say.
Oh, I know. Where you're going is 100% correct, and it is going to be reflected in my awards at the end of the episode.
Fair enough. I just wanted to.
I agree. Julie introduces Tina to Isaac and Gopher, where we learn that the ladies were in the same cruise director school training together, which, sure, the Princess Lion and establishing, I'm sure they have an excellent instructor, a former cruise director who, maybe like the Florence Nightingale of cruise directing. I'm sure somebody's really done the job.
It's got to be a cruise director teaching the other cruise directors.
You would think so.
Hopefully it's nobody hunky that would distract them.
Somehow we find out, A, Stubing was the trainer in this course, and B, they both had a crush on him. So...
Maybe that's when he was drinking. Maybe he was way cooler back then. He was driving a Trans Am. He's hammered all the time.
He's a real bad boy. He still had the flashback dark sides.
He's got feathered hair, like dark feathered hair too. It was bad boy Meryl.
He dressed like the Halloween episode where he was like the pirate or Captain Morgan or whatever.
He was like one of the Thunderbirds in Greece. He was so cool. So yeah, that them having a crush. I do not like that, Mike. I do not like that that unnecessary layer with Julie, because I always thought it was like a father-daughter, and now it's not. And Julie was kind of embarrassed that she said it, but man, it stuck with me the whole episode. Yeah, I am not cool with that.
No, and honestly, I don't like the fact that this boatman is training the cruise director job. That doesn't make any sense. there's been a lot. There was a lot of inconsistencies about how the cruise director program works and the line of succession for the cruise director job is. So,
well, now I'm wondering, well, who's going to train April? Remember, April thought about becoming a cruise director. Well, who, like you said, well, who? It just bothered the whole thing bothered me. Just I get caught up in stupid stuff like this, but the fact that they didn't have the foresight to add some detail that makes a small amount
why
of
wouldn't
sense.
it be orient? It would almost should have been like orientation,
Right?
And Julie got. It would make sense that the captain of the ship would do some sort of final training for his cruise director,
or an introduction.
Also,
something.
Also, here's the thing:
Hmm.
you're essentially a teacher in this spot. You're hitting on the students. The much younger
laying
student.
it on with Tina Phillips too. Like his body language was weird.
Oh, okay, so Julie was 25 at the end of last season.
Well,
she's been on this thing at least 3 years.
Yeah.
So we're talking about these are like 22-year-old girls. Stubing's 150. Like, so, ugh. No, thank you.
I didn't need that because it just changes the.
Yeah,
it makes me sadder for Julie in a way.
I really hope that this whole season is not just how sad can we make you for Julie, because
they're like, you're so sad. Let's bring a little girl on the boat. This will raise your spirits. You're like, no, poor Julie, man, what a crap.
So we clearly are getting flirt Meryl, which is the worst Meryl, and he says, "Oh, my favorite trainee and my biggest crush." Great training program you have there, Princess Cruise Line.
Way not to make it. Good. Yeah, nice. Thanks for not making it SS creepy.
This program was discontinued in 2018. So
due to alcohol and a handsy Meryl.
Turns out its time was up. So,
good Lord, his controversial training system. Get out of here.
After the horn, we are in the cabin with Philip Schaefer, and he's telling Perkins that maybe he went a little too far on the Knox ladies.
His daughter was bald.
Yeah. Right. Perkins says his job is to keep the undesirables away from him. Philip says, well, at least one of them wasn't undesirable. So we see where this is going.
Yeah, but is that a butler? Back to your point. None of this sounds like the role of a butler. Like he's almost acting like he's like security for a celebrity as well. I'm trying to keep away So who's Philip Schaefer then?
I wish they would have. I mean, he's a man of means. He says as much later. They give zero explanation as to why he needs the help, why he's in the chair. They give a very vague thing. I think it comes up in the blood pressure scene later where it's like somebody, probably his kids, right? Somebody hired Perkins to make sure he doesn't die, I guess.
Something. Or to make sure he doesn't like throw himself at a woman and
that's
get
what it
married.
Seems to be. But
Perkins, just make sure my dad doesn't marry a stranger on this cruise. And Perkins is like, you got it.
Yeah. Divvying up that inheritance.
That's what it is.
Yeah, that's actually. Yeah. Perkins is offended already, and he basically threatens to resign. And I hope that you enjoy that storyline because we're going to see it like 40 more times. So, yeah, it's great. We are poolside. Robin is talking to Mike. Carmine pops right out of the water to Robin, who's on kind of laying on the side. So this was a much more natural conversation than a lot of the pool conversations we've seen.
Yeah, sometimes it's like that conversation just wouldn't happen while I'm, in between tea parties at the bottom of the pool. I just don't. There's no time for that. There's no time for that. Be in a pool, have fun.
Well,
you're on vacation.
I mean, I think rightly so, based on the conversation we had at the beginning of this. I think Robin is taking this invite. I assume it's like, oh, this is a step. Like, I don't know that I would have gone on a cruise for 3 days where you're trapped if I wasn't living with the person. Not out of some sort of Puritan thing, some sort of like, oh God, this could go horribly wrong.
I mean, unless you had a job where the money thing's not a big deal, and maybe you view it as, well, let's see how this goes before we even talk about, cohabitation,
like a trial run.
I mean, but it's not really a trial run because it's vacation, but
well, I guess if you can't survive 3 days on a luxury cruise liner,
well,
So.
Maybe I shouldn't say paradise. I don't know if this is paradise. I mean,
no, actually, Mike, it's not paradise.
It's not paradise.
It's stage 2.
It is stage 2. Are they going to say it's Puerto Vallarta?
Stage 2 is when Kissy Huggy settles down into comfy cozy.
Oh, we know that one. We know stage 2. I know that one well. Yeah.
Robin says they could stay in stage 1, but Mike's like, nope, that's impossible. I've seen it before. No. But somehow he agrees that they should move in together. So score 1 for Robin, I guess.
Just say it. It's the big ragu in this. It's just a goofball. He's so inconsistent with his, number 1. Number 2. I'm back in the pool. And by the way, his hair looks like cotton candy in this episode. I don't know if it's lighting or if it's thin or what's going on. It just, it's like somebody packed a brush and he was like, won't be needing this. Splash. Just the wildest.
Stage 6, humidity.
He needs some of that VO5 hot oil treatment to kind of keep it.
Maybe he jumps in the pool like those Bosley commercials where it's just like,
look, it's my hair. I can jump in the pool. I can move this hair. No, he had some, I guarantee you later in life, there's no way that Eddie Mecca kept that hair of dark brown cotton candy on his head.
This is the second thing I've ever seen him in that wasn't Laverne and Shirley related. Yeah. Do you know what the other thing was? I guarantee you've seen it.
Not like My Bodyguard or something like that.
League of Their Own. When they go to the dance hall in the middle of the movie, that's him dancing.
Well, I mean, he's born to.
Well, he also knew the director. That probably helped. But
did he have a full head of hair?
I don't remember, but it was the 40s, so
Oh, you could.
Well, I'm also not quite sure why he wasn't at war. Now that I think about it, so
because he was dancing. I'm too good of a dancer. I'm the ragu.
That's true. Daphne, married 5 times, and her mom are on the deck, where mom's 1910 morals aren't really playing well with Daphne.
No.
Daphne ditches mom, which gives Philip chance to make his move. Sans wheelchair.
He can't make a move with those skinny little legs. I mean, let's be honest. He's going to need some help. What was wrong with his legs again? This is blood pressure related. So if you're really rich and you have a blood pressure issue, you can't use your legs. I don't understand.
No, if you're really rich, you have blood pressure issue. You can't go to dinner.
Apparently. Oh, that's right. You have to dine in. That's right.
They never explained why he was in the chair. The might just be lazy.
You're rich and you have a blood pressure issue. I'm not going to say if it's high or low, but your best bet, just sit this one through.
They give the number. I have it, but I don't know. Maybe I don't remember.
Did they over prescribe wheelchairs? I mean, Bill Bixby. I mean, let's go back. You've got rich guy on, and then I'm thinking, what a pain in the ass it would be in the 70s to try to go on a cruise in a wheelchair.
Well, he's got a guy though. Like poor Maureen.
They picked me up, put me down.
Poor Maureen had nobody there with her until Bixby showed up.
That's true. I don't know. Interesting. But I would just wonder how accessible a cruise ship was, how wheelchair accessible a cruise ship was in 1979 is the thing I'm
So that episode, the Bixby episode, I think they had to carry her up the steps, but then it was all elevators and stuff. So we haven't seen a lot of ramps. But our friend Jimmy, who was married to Debbie Allen, he never even got near the boat in the wheelchair. So
no, he didn't need to. Girl, go have a good time.
Yeah, and then come back to me. Come back to Papa. Which is funny because parasailing gets brought up later.
I saw that too. It made me laugh. I was like, oh no, Philip Schaefer's going to go parasailing now. Like, oh no. Oh, yeah, I giggled myself.
The third leading cause of death in 1979 was parasailing on the Love Boat.
In the last 6 weeks, it's caused 2 people to lose the use of their legs. It's terrible.
If they're not going to make explanations, we're going to make explanations.
Exactly. So, we'll define the safety record of that parasailing in Puerto Vallarta.
Anyway, Nora and Philip kind of make their introductions. Philip offers an apology for Perkins and proposes a drink, maybe a hot date at the Pirates Cove. Arr.
Arr. Nothing says date and romance quite like. Arr.
I do want to point out though that Philip Schaefer makes this date for like 7:30, not 5 p.m. like the child and Paul Burke did. So he can't be that old.
It's funny when you said the child when they introduced Adam Rich in the beginning. I went, oh no. Adam Rich is going to throw himself at Julie. Julie's going to throw herself at Philip Schaefer. Like, oh no, it's going to be terrible.
Date is a man too. Nora goes to grab the wheelchair, but here comes Perkins.
Don't you
out
touch
of nowhere
my
to
chair,
cock block
ma'am.
his boss.
Get the hell out of here.
He drags him off for therapy, which again, to your point, he's like a Swiss Army knife of service here. So
yeah, what is he? What are you doing?
But Philip
like,
is
he shaving him. Like,
Philip's a little slicker than Perkins though, because he's like, "Hey, could you get my jacket?" And when he goes to get the jacket, Philip agrees to make the date.
You got to get up pretty early in the morning to get one past Philip Schaefer, and apparently Perkins is a bit of a dummy. Haley's comment.
Yeah.
Where, sir?
Yeah.
Over there. Keep walking. 6 miles. Don't turn around. Yes, sir.
Yes. It's at the bottom of the pool.
So, oh, it's because he doesn't have a monocle.
Now we're
so gullible.
Yes. No wonder those POWs were always getting away with stuff.
He was looking at it in his bad eye.
All right. We are outside on the real boat set.
Notice that.
Julie comes over. Oh, the sound's a huge problem at some point, and it's not just outside. So we'll get to that. So Julie comes over to see what's up with Tina and Brian. Brian, ever the polite child, thanks Julie for the colored pens, and she's a real artist, or he's a real artist apparently.
Yeah.
Somehow this gets these two started on kind of the plot for the episode. After a little bit of the whole, you're tired. I've been working all day. You call this work? Oh, it's that. Not in a mean way, but definitely in a.
You could see.
Well, and the grass is always greener, Mike.
Yeah.
This only goes on for so long. Brian shows off his drawing of the housekeeper, which takes Julia back a little bit.
The storyline of the fact they call it the grass is always greener is so mean to Julie, too, because it just goes back to, hey, remember that time you thought you were going to get married, but you didn't get married? Well, this episode, your friend who had the same job left the job, and look how happy she is because she's married. Like, it's, they don't let it breathe. Shit, man.
But in a way, that's the best part of this whole episode, I think.
The continuity?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. So, well,
execution's different, but in terms of like this literally might be next week.
I get that. The only continuity issue I have is the lack of concern last episode when she was like, I'm quitting my job, I'm going to marry Jack. Stubing came close with the whole, have you called him? But now I feel like the crew's kind of walking on eggshells. Like there's keywords to avoid, like baked, Alaska, fishing, Jack, fur coats, winter, wolves. I have a whole list of these. Iditarod, huskies, snowfall, all kinds of things. So Jack Frost, anything. So it's like now they're walking on eggshells. They're like, Jesus, don't say that, Julie's trying to.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that scene, which, I'm not. It's funny. It's both sides of the Love Boat coin, so I'm not going to kill it too much. But
no. It just made me giggle.
Anyway, Stubing shows up, of course, and gets scored on by the kid. I bet your head burns. He is so red in this scene. Like the actor, Gavin McLeod, is so red in this scene.
He's pissed. He beat the crap out of Adam Rich. after this take was over. He totally improv that line. Adam Rich did. Beat the crap out of him. Draw a picture now.
Yeah, look at all this hair I got. This bowl cut.
You're gonna have to rename that show to 7 is Enough.
Oh, snap. Undeterred, Meryl moves into flattery mode with Tina and also managed to move into attack mode on Julie.
No kidding, man. Look how strong I am, Tina. Look how I belittle Julie. Ugh.
Okay. So this is where the one thing Stubing did this whole episode, I did agree with him, but also not. So Stubing says to Julie that I see we have yet another Mexican fiesta night. Maybe we could switch it up to do something else.
Like,
to be fair,
while the ship is moving, like, how about you tell me that before we,
To be fair,
sure,
we have seen a lot of Mexican fiesta nights.
Well, and they're not consistent. Remember that first one was like, whoa, and then the second one's like, oh, and then the third one was basically just that stupid sign.
But
said it, but
it's not the same passengers every week. So who cares if it's the same thing?
Do the same shit every week.
Right. Also, to your point, don't tell me now. I packed all this Mexican fiesta stuff.
Right. Because we're going to Mexico. I don't know why we would do that. Crazy, I know. Julie
says they could do a toga party, which is a little too wild for Meryl. Nobody's going to see his bare chest. Tina's comment about all this party planning being a pretty great life. Julie took that in the wrong way. So
yeah, here we go. The grass is greener. Here we go.
Yeah. All right, back in Pirates Cove. Julie is shit talking Tina to the guys.
She really is shit talking Tina.
Yeah, we are here immediately. Julie is in her feelings, saying that you don't get things like a drawing from an 8-year-old from a career. She then kind of tells Gopher the heck with women's lib when he brings it up. Lists all the comforts. Yeah, all the comforts of a rich marriage with children lifestyle that sounds a bit jealousy. A little bit of jealousy.
It's almost like the wrong lesson was reinforced based on what happened with Jack. Because now she's like, oh, now I definitely know I have to get married to a much richer man that I barely know quickly.
Yeah, we don't really know how much money Jack had.
I mean, he had a nice
Jack
bag.
was Alaska rich.
Yeah, he just has a lot of mackerel in his whatever.
All right, before we get into the crux of this very important scene, this is the ADR. So outside, they've gotten better at it, but there was definitely some Julie voiceover on the outside stuff. But that could be wind or
somebody got fired this week. Good Lord.
They for the next 3 scenes, which are indoors, Julie gets ADR'd. And
I don't know why though. There wasn't anything visibly going on, or was it just?
I will say, if you watch her talking, it is a little unusual.
Can you explain what ADR means to our audience that's not familiar with that term?
So ADR basically is when you finish filming a scene in a movie or a TV show, they would then, after it's post-production, and you would go into a studio and they would give you the lines and you would basically repeat the lines. It's like a voiceover on top of what you're saying.
It's just dubbing, basically.
Dubbing, yeah. We've seen it occasionally. For the most part, we've seen it in outdoor scenes. There was that gratuitous Isaac one with the Black Schwarzenegger joke. I think there was a
Pepito, one on the Pepito episode. Just different.
But this is a lot, and it felt weird. Like one of two things. It felt like for some reason they just couldn't pick up Lauren Chu's audio this week, or I do wonder if this is the first thing that we're seeing about certain issues that ran in. So I'm not saying that, obviously.
It could be. I mean, her voice might have been shot. Maybe it shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
Who knows?
So
who knows?
It wasn't the whole episode.
No. It was spotty.
Who knows? But it was
super noticeable, though.
It's very noticeable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Doc diagnoses Julie with Tina envy.
Yeah.
Julie doesn't really deny that. And then we get into it. After Julie says that Tina could have stayed with her career, and where would that have gotten her? Gopher starts listing all the places that they've gone. Very nice friend thing to do. And he lists all the ports that we become familiar with. And then Isaac Washington, the bartender. Theoretically, the smoothest person on this boat. Definitely the person who knows how to talk to people and not talk to people.
Yeah.
Mentions Alaska.
Which is just what I told you. Don't say that keyword. Are you kidding? Why would you say that?
And Julie,
shit, here we go.
Julie kind of gives, Julie kind of takes it the way you would think, and she leaves. And then Gopher and Doc do not give him a break. Like, they smoke him.
That's what I'm saying. They're like,
pretty good.
Why wouldn't they send her on vacation after what happened last week? It's not like, all right, reset, new crew, unless they were worried about her being alone. I just feel like this would have been an optimal time for her to, like, how about you take a week off?
Yeah.
Good
I mean,
Lord,
if you're...
I feel terrible for her, man. She's a hot
and
mess
again,
with
it's
this whole
that thing. But the thing is, it all rung very true. It felt very real. It's one of the only things in this show that has ever made it to the next episode.
I agree.
And it did feel like something that would happen. And probably the only time outside of Jack stuff that they at least gave Julie's, and she really wasn't on the Julie scale. She really wasn't that crazy this week, honestly. I mean, she was a little dramatic.
No, she was,
but not. This isn't Priest level or anything.
I thought it was going to be the second week in a row where she quit her job.
She tried.
I mean, right. That's what I'm saying. So it's like 2 weeks in a row. We get two olds. We got marriages. Do we get engagements? And we get Julie quitting and just about quitting 2 weeks in a row. We are off to a raucous start this season.
Back in the Schaefer cabin, Philip, his blood pressure, it's high, Mike, 160/95, a bit high.
It's a little high. It's not wheelchair high.
That's not why he's in the wheelchair, I don't think. So.
No. Unless they see an exit wound. I don't know. I don't see anything.
So, Perkins is like, nope, no plans for you, old man. Philip, this is where I thought maybe we would actually get an explanation of something, but not really. Philip just says, like, you're not the boss of me. Basically, I'm mentally capable and all that stuff. And this is where Perkins kind of says the thing that my job is to make sure that, you are.
Yeah. His daughter's paying Perkins. Somebody's paying Perkins to take care of this guy against his will, basically.
Yeah. Perkins leaves the room because he doesn't want to upset Schaefer anymore and exacerbate his condition. But also, here's a menu, bitch. So...
I like when he's like, here, can you go, when he's talking about the room service, he's like, well, can you go make sure that, like, and I'm just saying, it almost sets up that Philip Schaefer is a bit of a pain in the ass.
I disagree. I think that's a plan.
But I'm saying I think there had to be a precedent for him to be so picky in order for Perkins to go do it. I'm just saying I think there's a potential for Philip Schaefer, which we didn't see on the boat.
That's true.
To be a bit needy. Maybe, we're only seeing one side of the story here.
That was plenty for me. So.
Yeah. Oh, I'm fine with it. I don't need to. Yeah, no, I'm good. There's no spin. I don't want to see the Philip and Perkins spinoff. No interest.
No, Jesus Christ.
Worst show ever.
The Knox cabin is also getting ready for a big night as Daphne is tarting herself up for the evening, telling her mom not to wait up. Meanwhile, in Promenade Deck 345, Robin and Mike are getting ready to go out on the boat. Mike left his socks on the floor, which leads to, get this, Stage 3.
Stage 3. Here we go.
Stage 3, the picky stage, where you find fault in every little thing that I do. And that leads to disenchantment. So Robin picks up the socks because she's hungry and she's sick of this plot already. So
I'm just going to go out on a limb here, Mike. Mike and Robin should not be together. Let me just get that. Like, this should not be together at all. This is never going to work. It's never going to work. Because this guy Mike's a freaking wild card, man. He's ready to leave this ship and her at the drop of a hat. Just give me a reason, Robin. He's out.
You don't know how he's been hurt. Cindy Williams just dropped him like a bad habit.
She really did. They're just not. So, if it's like this at 7 months, let's not get to 8 months. Let's just end this voyage at 7 months. There's no
Stage
purpose.
9, jump off the boat.
No kidding. Oh. Yeah, stage 10, international waters. Just get away.
Nora is at dinner, but Philip Schaefer is a no-show.
Nope.
And we finally get to our first act break. That was a long first scene.
So much.
Act 2, Schaefer. He's playing Colonel Clink like a fiddle. He sends this idiot Perkins to go get his dinner from the kitchen because room service can't be trusted.
Make sure the crusts are cut off too, Perkins.
Yeah.
I want you to make my tuna yourself. Yeah.
And as soon as that happens, Schaefer's like, later, losers. And he's like,
whoa.
He grabs his coat and he's out of here.
I'll say this, right? So Perkins is gone. Philip wheels himself over to his closet, right? And it starts like, okay, showing that he's going to get dressed. And I'm thinking, how the hell is Philip Schaefer going to get dressed by himself now with those lifeless legs? Like, he's by himself. Now he's going to put on his whole by himself. Now he's like,
jacket on.
He's like, damn it, I need Perkins to put on my dinner pants and tie my shoes, like all this.
Oh, it's a gift to the Magi.
It is gift to the Magi. It's exactly what it is. Maybe the most perfect version of gift to the Magi ever.
Yeah, this is our Christmas episode.
But I mean, Philip, she'd be waiting in her cabin for another 24 hours before it knocked. I'm going to get my stuff. I'm going to wheel myself out. Oh, there's a ridge in the floor. Like, he's not getting anywhere quick.
Smash cut to Nora's room. Now, don't forget, we ended Act 1 with Nora being stood up, and she's going to the horn. She's like, operator, give me the room of Philip Schaefer. And we get an appropriate pause, not just the classic, hello? Yes, I'd like, thank you, but we don't get that. So,
yeah.
But before Nora can be too crestfallen, the door knocks. And who knocks for Nora? Philip Schaefer.
Did you say who knocks on her Dora?
Yeah.
Nora?
Nora's Dora.
Philip Schaefer, Dora.
Yeah.
All right. Philip Schaefer solo.
And her Nora's Dora's daughter's a Horus.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding with that crazy outfit on. Oh.
Back in the dining room where Adam Rich is wearing the most piece suit I've ever seen.
Jesus, a 17-piece suit. That's great, Adam Rich.
Stubing has his sexy voice going as he talks to Tina, saying that he was surprised he chose the family over a career. And then he says that Tina was the best in his class.
He's so creepy, man. He's so creepy.
When she mentions how good Julie was, Stubing's like, let me turn this into an excuse to let Tina take over Julie's job. Like, he's
no kidding.
Just like, oh, it's not very different than what he did with what's her name, the trainee.
Yeah,
he fell into her trap pretty quick.
He doesn't learn anything.
No,
nothing.
No,
he's out for himself.
So Stubing wants to show off Tina's dancing skills in the Acapulco lounge.
Doesn't make any damn sense.
She's got to take her kid to bed. Julie's like, don't worry about it. I got it. You
Yeah,
can
but
go
I
play
think she
cruise
said, like,
director.
I'll play mom. And I'm already back to Jack last week, how Julie was going to play it. I'm just like, oh, man. Just emotional scars all over the boat this week. Poor Julie.
The ADR here is really bad.
Yeah, it was.
And this was kind of the part where I thought maybe there was a bigger issue with Lauren
Something was
Hughes.
up.
Yeah. FYI, late seating dinner now being served at the Coral Dining Room. You know who's taking advantage of that? Mike and Robin.
That's right.
I guess with all the stages, one of the stages is late. So,
I guess dinner's like stage 20. They didn't get to it because they ate so late.
So they arrive, and there's no stage for being a gentleman because Mike just jumps in his chair. He doesn't wait for Robin, doesn't pull her chair out. So
I made a note. I was like, Mike is a bit of an asshole. Like,
yeah.
Because now I'm like, Jesus, Robin, is this who you want to be with? The guy's got no manners. He's shouting out numbers, throwing dirty socks, just being a real buzzkill.
So Robin's trying to kind of move past all this stage nonsense and everything, but he just can't let it go.
Such a dick.
He really somebody hurt Mike really badly. So, and so they kind of are chipping each other at this point. So Nora and Philip are on the deck, finally having that drink. These two end up talking about being self-reliant, and it turns out that there's two sides of the same coin in terms of codependency. Philip Schaefer is pretty smooth though. You got to give him that. He got rid of Philip, or he got rid of Schaefer. He got rid of Perkins.
Bye, Perkins.
And he's already trying to smooch.
Look at this guy. We're not
smooth.
Around.
Julie is putting Brian to bed as he shows off his art.
Yeah.
Tells Julie that she can keep the self-portrait because mom's got the real me at home and you don't have anybody.
Oh. Keep this drawing because you'll never have a child of your own. Yeah. And my mommy does, and we're really happy. And she says you'll never find happiness.
Yeah, you can put it on your loveless empty fridge.
So, yeah, God knows you have room for it on your blank walls. Gee. Oh, God.
Julie then smothers Adam Rich with a pillow.
Or then Julie starts making out with Adam Rich. He's just the ultimate turn. Ugh.
All right, we are dancing in the Acapulco Lounge, or at least Daphne is. This is Travelina level dancing. This is just like
early gopher. Like early disco gopher last season. That craziness.
We pop around a lot here, which is way too early in a show for this. Robin orders a drink from Isaac, but Mike is counting them.
We all know the rule, Mike.
I think you know the rule.
We know the rule.
What's the rule about counting drinks? So.
You don't count drinks. You do not count drive. Yeah. Well, I thought that. Well, I'll let you finish, but I do have a theory here.
Just going to say Robin wants to dance, but Mike doesn't want to dance. And then he tries to get in his stage 4 bit, but Robin cuts him off and calls him selfish, thoughtless, and about as spontaneous as Mount Rushmore.
That was good.
Mike says she's so predictable, and we get our second straight slap of the week.
Hey, this one was better than last week.
But
this one's 1,000% better than last week. They added noise, that sweet. It's like they added the sound SMACK to it, so it sounded like a smack. But it was better than that.
It was like a cartoon noise, though.
It was. It was just the Warner Brothers patented smack sound. Yeah, this was a Three Stooges type, but it was.
Bonk.
Yeah, just. I don't know. I don't know if it warranted a smack. Because he said to her so many times how predictable she is. I thought it was kind of like. This storyline just sucks. I'm just going to say it just sucks. Like, they didn't need this to. Because in the end, it doesn't matter anyway. That's why I'm like, I feel like I wasted my time
Right.
with this story.
If 7.5 months into a relationship is too early to go on a cruise vacation, it's
like
definitely too early to slap your boyfriend.
Slapping?
So,
You don't even know him well enough to slap him. Good Lord.
no, you don't know how that's going to go.
No, you might have picked the wrong, you never know.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is too, like, I don't know that I've ever been in a place where like a guy got slapped, like in public. It's in public too.
It's in front of tons of people. Like it's
I've definitely been in a place where a guy had a drink thrown at him, but I had a different view of that. So.
It's one of the greatest moments I've ever seen in my life. It's funny. I've seen that twice. Right, I've seen it twice. Saw it once in high school and then once on that wonderful July 4th evening. But I've never seen a lady, girl, woman get so mad that they smack. I've never seen that.
Yeah, I don't think I have either.
I've never been in a relationship where someone like smacked me. I mean, that'd be crazy.
I've never been hit. Do you think? I'm mainly kidding here, but do you think that we are escalating the violence here, the drama violence? Are we going to see a lot more slapping? Is Dynasty on yet?
Oh, God. I mean, I'm fine. I'm hoping to see a couple kicks. We're getting started early this season. I'm fine with it. Let's get lots of smooching, lots of kicking.
We have 3 streaks now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We have 3 streaks now that we have to monitor. We have the engagement wedding streak. We have the Julie being crushed streak. And now we have a physical violence streak. So
imagine they just
which do you think will make it the furthest?
I hope it's the smack, Mike. I got to be honest with you.
It's like the
it won't be the smack. I bet you the Julie thing's going to keep going. Next episode, there'll be something.
I hope it's not the Julie destruction.
Me neither.
All right. Nora and Philip are playing gin in the Knox cabin. Somebody call Wendell Sneed.
Yeah, no kidding. With his loaded deck. That feels like it was like
Daphne
6 years
is drunk
ago.
as a skunk. Okay.
That feels like it was like 6 years ago. That's
End of season 1. Yeah. End of season 1's a long time ago. Daphne's drunk as a skunk. She bursts in and eventually realizes that her mom has a date. Philip's like, do you need any help? And Nora's like, no, I got it. I have my... How old is Daphne? Now, she's been married 5 times.
Let's take the balding thing into consideration, as well when we talk about the age. So, like, we can eliminate the 20s. Let's just say that. Unless
she's Matt Williams.
Or Charlie Villanueva. Or the Human Toilet's brother. I think he had that too.
She's got to be. I mean, okay.
She's got to be 40s, dude. I think 40s.
If you get married once when you're a dumb kid and a second time when you're a dumb early 20s, right? Like, she's got to be in her 40s.
Well, let's just say each marriage lasted a year or 2 years.
You think Mr. Bjorkman's going to marry somebody who just came out of her 4th marriage?
No. No, yet she's got to be 40s. It's got to be 40s. Or unless she's 30s but looks 40s because she has so much money, and people start to dress like that wacky sort of.
I could not get a sense of how old that woman was.
I couldn't either. I felt like they were closer in age than we think that they actually were, but I have no idea.
And I also didn't care enough to care. Like, it was... I
didn't even look it up. I give shit less. Yeah.
Mike walks back into him and Robin's cabin. Robin thinks this is to reconcile, but stage 5 is all about dental hygiene. So Mike comes back to grab his toothbrush, and he is out of there.
If you thought Mike was here to reconcile, you clearly have only known Mike for 7 months, because that is not a Mike move right there.
This leaves Robin devastated as we go to commercial.
And here's your room key back. Because then I'm like, where's he sleeping?
You think he's doing Paul Williams?
I could be. I mean, that's always
You know
the
what?
worst
The
case
big
scenario.
ragu, he can get himself a room. You know
Yeah,
what I
he'll
mean?
get a room with that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm lost, and I have cotton candy
Julie.
hair, and I
Julie's
can
tub.
dance. Oh, Julie's definitely.
You
Get out
know,
of here, Brian Phillips.
well, I was gonna say that's a very that's a very Jack Chenault hairstyle
It
that the big
is. It
ragu
is. Be
has.
careful. Be careful. Like anyone that looks like Jack
And
Chenault, and
Ralph
I'm
Malph.
talking to you. I'm talking to you, Ron Perlman. If there's anything if you look like
Oh.
Jack Chenault at all, look out. That's why Ron Perlman's not on the show.
When did Beauty and the Beast start?
Let's think of that. Whew.
Act 3. Parasailing in 10 minutes. So be careful out there.
Notify the emergency rooms. Ugh.
Oh, God. Load up the wheelchairs. Tina thanks Julie for taking care of Brian, but here's Stubing laying on that
So dumb.
classic McLeod charm. So
Ugh.
he's all business with Julie. And since Julie is
This is so dumb, this scene. Oh, it made me so angry.
So Julie forgot to come up with a new theme for the party, and I guess also the existence of the party, which I guess in a way makes sense because she had it done. It was Mexican Fiesta night. You know.
I mean, now is not the time to be slipping, Julie. Just saying.
Yeah, but that's...
I get it. I don't disagree. I think it's kind of a dumb thing. Like, don't go, you know what, we're going to do a new party. Okay, well, we left. Like, it'd be great if you told us this before we left shore.
Well, not just that, but it's like, you know what? You can just do the thing you had scheduled, right?
Well, don't you have to tell the guests what you have planned?
They did. How are you
going to go to this stupid new idea and you're not going to tell anybody about it?
Well, but there's precedent for this because if you remember when Julie almost had her job stolen the first time.
That's right.
That lady put on a Western night.
That's right.
And everybody had Western clothes out of nowhere. So,
which maybe they realized their errors. Yeah.
Either everyone is told to pack for everything, like it's the Amazing Race.
We could have any part. Yeah, the Amazing Race. Yeah. We're going to have a costume shop.
Right. Or they just have like the lost and found of the Love Boat is immense.
That gift shop has wings. Like this is the sock wing.
And pearls.
And pearls. Socks and pearls. Jeez.
So the three of them are scrambling to come up with an idea. Western night, that's been done. Roaring 20s night, that's been done apparently. Mardi Gras, that's a little too crazy for Meryl.
Yeah, settle down.
Tina suggests a sock hop.
Worst. Yeah, worst everything I've ever heard.
Stubing thinks this is the greatest idea he's ever heard.
Stubing's such a fool. Yeah.
And then he basically tells Tina that she can help Julie, and Julie's like, sure, the more the merrier. Tina at least does the thing where she's like, well, we should probably check with Julie before.
Right.
You idiot. So
he's all about trying to create rifts. Like he's acting like he wants Julie on the boat. Well, last week he didn't stop her from leaving, and this week he's like, "Oh, Tina, you are so smart, so much smarter than Julie in every." It's just such a jerk move.
Julie, who's standing right here,
right?
We talked about it.
Went through, man. Yeah,
we talked about it last season. I think it was the Amin episode with the dumb waitress. But like he is a messy bitch. Like he just loves the drama. He wants
to stir the fucking soup. He always wants some kind of like. And this week it was just. And you know what, Mike? We've seen enough episodes where we know what Stubing's all about. You know, my thing is before I felt like maybe we lost our way with Stubing, as we see these type of character, these characteristics. But we've seen it so many times now that it's just kind of is what it is.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we know who Stubing is based on how they portray him, even in these negative ways, because it happens all the time.
Yeah, I can. It doesn't bother me as much in the consistency part because you're right. This is just part of it,
Yeah.
right? Like there's
Right.
these little dips. There's like 4 or 5 dips every season where he turns into this.
It's like a weird
So
attention seeking. Like you're the
sad,
captain.
lonely.
Isn't that enough?
No, it's never enough,
No,
Mike.
it's never
Just
enough.
like it's like a pack of crawlers, brother. It's just never enough. So
You said crullers and somewhere his ears perked up.
3 p.m. somewhere.
Uh,
Meanwhile, Philip is having breakfast with Perkins, not at Perkins, with Perkins. And once again, the gentleman threatens to resign because that's what he does. Nora shows up, carting a very hungover Daphne. And Philip sends Perkins to make his world famous hangover cure. So Perkins is good for something, I guess.
question for you, Mike. Two questions. Number one,
Yes.
well, one question, more of an observation. I've had my fair share of hangovers. I get terrible hangovers, and I have to think that a hangover on a ship has got to be rough.
Can't be good.
Just because of the moving horizon and all that.
Yeah.
Like, that would just be miserable. But my question is, have you ever found a hangover cure that works for you personally, or have you known of a hangover cure?
Yes. But it's booze.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You're just creating a whole new problem.
the only thing non-booze that ever worked a little bit for me would be just the greasiest food cart breakfast sandwich you could find. But like when I used to get really hungover, like the coffee didn't taste right and all that kind of stuff. So it just had to be greasy. But the worst hangovers I've ever had, unfortunately, had to be fixed by the hair of the dog. And that's not great, but it does work every time.
I just remember a particular instance. It was a football Sunday. We all had quite a night the night before. And you had an interesting hangover cure. And your plan this day was to drink a little, then to get into an argument with a fried piece of chicken on a plate on your lap, fall asleep when you're done with the argument, and then wake up an hour later and eat the chicken. So I was like, leave him alone. He has his own system.
Never fell off the plate.
Chicken never fell off the plate. It was something to behold. It really was.
Oh God. Yeah. I've former guest of the show, future guest of the show, Tanya, makes the best hangover cures, but it's basically just like vodka and some fruit juices.
It was good.
But the problem is, if you graph it, it's like I'm very hungover. I'm slightly hungover. I'm not hungover. I'm feeling great. I'm drunk again. I need to hangover cure tomorrow. So it's a slippery slope.
Just keep punting that thing to the next day. Just drink those Harrisons in the morning.
Hey, Mike, the best hangover cure is moderation.
That's funny. Yeah, that is true. That is true. It's been years since I've had a hangover, but just something about being on a ship would just suck.
I saw one within the last couple of years. Philip took the opportunity when Perkins is making his hangover cure to whisk Nora off the boat for a little tour of Puerto Vallarta.
Wait, Perkins doesn't pay attention to anything.
He's not very good at his job.
Like, he's seeing him getting whisked away. He knows what's going on. Like, how long does it take him to explain to Isaac what's in the headache cure? He's like, I just need scotch. I need a glass of scotch. Jeez.
Sodium pentothal. Robin chases down Mike to try and make up. But Mike knows stage 5 when he sees it.
He's out.
And he just walks away.
The suitcase, he's just...
Yeah, once again, this is like what, our 10th person who is going to leave the ship mid-trip. Like,
well, I wonder how
it's insane.
I wonder how they paid for this. Was this Dutch? Or do you think Mike footed the bill for both of them?
I don't know that Dutch was a thing in the late 70s like that.
No, I don't think so either. I'm just thinking if Mike paid for both tickets and Mike's like, I'm out, Puerto Vallarta, here I come.
Well, I guess if he did pay for it, good on him not to throw her out. So.
Well, if he did pay for it, like, yeah, I put those socks on the floor because this is my floor.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't feel bad for Robin at all. I feel like if you've experienced 7 months of this, then the last 3 days shouldn't be the thing that break the back.
You know
Like
what?
this is not, it's established behavior.
I don't feel bad for her. I think
No.
she knew the score pretty quick,
She
though.
knows
And
who he is.
I almost think she was in the position of putting all the chips in. Like, I don't want to get to month 8 if we can't do this. So I think she's turning up the temp a little bit on this nonsense.
I think something you said.
She also nails him as he walks away with, "You gonna fight back? What's the matter? Didn't you ever see Rocky?"
I saw that. That was. Well, I thought of the phrase that I learned from you, which is my wife's least favorite phrase, because when I say it, it is you say, "Look, you knew who I was
right.
when you met me." Like, don't get mad now. It's the perfect phrase here for Mike. It's like, don't get mad at me. It was the perfect thing to say. That's why people get so mad
But
when
I
I say
don't
it.
know.
It's true.
I don't know that it applies there because do you think she is constantly asking what these stages are, which makes me think, as much as he talks about the stages now, he has never brought up this stage bit before. So if you're going to tell me you knew who I was, fucked up from previous relationships, fine. But like, I don't know that.
It could be you knew who I was before we got on this cruise ship. Maybe the cruise ship is when he brought up all this bullshit. But
that's what I think.
Like, it was weird.
Yeah.
Like,
now that said, it would be shocking if he's shown no weirdo behavior ever, and now it's this.
And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, warning sign, warning. But I mean, something tells me these kids aren't done though, Mike. I don't know why.
Stubing and Doc are back in their Valentine's Day ghost perch. Weren't they just in love? Well, that's the thing about young love. It's so fickle. Love. Shut up.
Shut up. You guys don't know anything. Maybe Doc does.
Yeah, Stubing doesn't know anything about
Stubing doesn't know anything about anything.
Tina is hard at work on planning this terrible sock hop.
Stupid sock hop.
But Julie's got her claws out. She accuses Tina of gunning for her job on top of flaunting her awesome life. And she walks out on the line about losing interest in the job entirely.
Yeah, Julie's crazy. She lost her mind. It happened.
Another smash cut right from one Julie scene to another. She's in her cabin, and the guys show up and ask if she wants to go to lunch with them. The guys all show up in
Do you see what
civilian
Gopher
clothes.
Oh, which is my favorite, but God, they're a mess when they're in civilian clothes.
So this is the first time, except for the costume in the dream sequence, that we've ever seen Doc out of a uniform. Which is great.
Well, last week when he dressed like LeBeau, when they were eating crab legs.
Oh, that's right. You're right. So now I do wonder if this is like, okay, it would be ridiculous if these guys never got out of uniform. So
2 weeks in a row. This is something. Okay.
Isaac is again wearing his Dreamgirls cowboy hat.
He loves
Gopher this is a very specific reference for mainly people who took the L in Philadelphia until about 10 years ago. Before they redid the City Hall L stop at 15th Street, 14th Street, Broad Street. They used to have these old pictures on the wall, and they were just pictures from like the 70s and 80s. I think there was like the Music Academy of Music, and there was like maybe a skyline thing. There was a picture of a guy selling soft pretzels, and he was dressed like Gopher is in this white hat,
selling pretzels in between breakdance sessions, in Rittenhouse.
So that's a very specific reference.
It's a very local reference.
Yeah. Julie is looking at her photo album that she just happens to have. Does Julie have every photo ever? Like,
I don't even know what was in that, because some of it just like stuff written down. You know what I mean? Like just weird.
Yeah. But it's funny because if you remember the Priest episode, she got Anson Williams to come down and look at some old photos of the gang. So Julie just has all the photos with her, I guess.
It's just weird. Like when she's upset, what do you want to do? I don't know. I'm going to look at old photos. That'll calm me right down. It's just weird to me.
When things were better.
Things were simpler. When I was dating a married man in Paris, like, do you really want to look back at that? Come on.
Well, she doesn't have that picture. She ripped it up, remember?
It's gone. That's right. It doesn't exist. That's the only one.
There's one empty spot.
It's her by the Eiffel Tower. That's it. This is me at the Louvre. This is me at Charlemagne. Yeah. It's great. Just me.
Doc once again cautions Julie of being envious. And after Julie gets into her feelings a bit, the boys convince her to join them for lunch. So that's nice.
That green-eyed monster, Julie, I warned you about.
Every time. Nora and Philip return from their wild day out. And since they had such a great time, Philip proposes marriage because that's how it goes.
That's all you need is just a good afternoon in Mexico. That's it. Jeez.
Marriage would solve their codependency problems. At first, I thought he was going to propose double murder.
We can either get married or kill them both. Let's ask Perkins, because you could have Perkins get rid of Daphne, but then getting rid of Perkins is a whole different.
That's true. Daphne shows up though and says she needs her mommy because the guy dumped her, and that kind of makes the answer clear for Nora, and she declines the marriage proposal.
Well, thank God that Daphne was having issues. Jeez. We'd have it, good thing that life happens to stop millions more marriages from happening every week on this boat.
So far.
Jeez.
Mike knocks on Robin's cabin.
Yeah, he does.
And tells her that he missed his flight home. Which we all know, the beautiful. What's the airport that, what's his name, tried to fly out of?
Oh,
was it Puerto Vallarta?
It was Puerto Vallarta. That's right.
Puerto Vallarta International Airport, or
PVVIA, something like that. Yeah.
RIP,
Sure.
Ken Breyer.
Or they're flying in and out of the
Stubby winner Ken Breyer.
Or they're flying out of the totem pole.
I think it was the Mazatlan International Airport. Actually,
yeah.
So
they refuel at the totem pole. The ocean. Yeah, there's no chart this week. I'm keeping it simple.
Yeah, boo.
I want the dotted line. Come on.
This week we'll be going to when Mike knocks on the door, he tries to explain his stages thing is essentially baggage and kind of like he's been burned before. But Robin has no time for that.
No. You
didn't just miss the plane. You missed the boat. Bam, commercial break. Ow.
He's like, what do you mean? I'm standing on the boat. No, but I meant it. Oh, it's so... Wait.
They gave Robin 2 commercial breaks. Act 4, thank God. Stubing is in his office with Drew, and he's on the phone with Julie, just gushing about how awesome Tina is and how great the sock hop is. And all this stuff, like he's in 8th grade.
So dumb. Yeah.
Tina's big idea that Stubing is so infatuated with now is that a reverse Bon Voyage party, where they basically would have like a little party as the boat is returning to port, and everybody would get a champagne cocktail. Not surprising that Stubing would be in favor of potential drunk driving by serving everybody at the end here. So,
wouldn't he be against it just because of his sort of stance on alcohol? Like, how could you be okay with that? Here, on your way out, like, be safe. It doesn't make any sense. It would go against everything he believes in.
Do you know how many children would have gotten run over?
Oh, God. It would have been just a wild scene. All right.
All right, let's see. So let's see. Here we go. Meryl would obviously love a plan that increased the drunk driving possibilities.
Oh
Meanwhile,
yeah.
Julie hangs up on him, which is great. So.
She's done. She's like, dude, come on. By the way, such an
So now with
unnecessary
that,
scene. By the way, I thought that scene was
well,
completely unnecessary.
I think the only reason it was necessary is they needed to get from Julie going to lunch with these guys to Julie basically being so pissed that she resigned.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Okay.
The only thing I can think again is, maybe they did shoot the scene with him talking to Julie and then they had to go to a phone.
Who knows? Who knows? That's weird.
Anyway, now we're back at Julie's cabin and she's got some angry typewritering going. So the whole gist of this is Gopher knocks on the door. She yells at him to come in. He figures out that she's trying to resign. Isaac comes in, same exact thing. Doc comes in, same exact thing. So that's the gist of it. Mm-hmm. Julie is so angry that she's going to resign and she is banging away on her typewriter. Does Julie have a separate office, do you think? Or do you think she does all her ship business out of her cabin?
I would think that it would make sense for her to have some sort of office. I would think they would have to.
You would think so, but now she's typewritering on her bed. That seems odd.
Makes sense to me. That's like not an official business typewriter either.
Exactly. Eventually, all three of the guys threaten to quit if Julie quits, which then calms everybody down. And so there'll be no resigning today. Resigning.
Don't worry.
Let's see. We head to the sock hop, and it is not popping.
It is not. There's no. Yeah, because oh, hey, I would love to come to this party that no one invited me to, or no one really told me about, and I don't have anything to wear.
Yeah,
that's so.
Yeah. You know what is not boat wear? Is sock hop wear.
Sock hop wear. So, you mean poodle skirts aren't flotation devices?
Sorry, I didn't bring my big varsity sweater.
Yeah, or my leather jacket and my Brill cream. Like, how am I supposed to get my T-Birds outfit? It just doesn't make.
Doc, Gopher, and Isaac are dressed in 50s garb because they had it lying around too, I guess.
They all probably went to high school in the 50s, I'd imagine. I mean, it wasn't that long ago for these guys.
Wait, do you pack your high school clothes with you everywhere you go?
Everywhere I go. I'm always ready. I have my Living Color t-shirt. I'm ready to go.
There you go. I have a no fear tuxedo.
That's it. My skids. Let's do this.
They're the only ones there. They know it's a bomb, much like this episode.
Yeah,
this is just terrible.
What's going on?
Mike tracks down Robin, tries his apology again. Mike is scared that their relationship might not work out. But people don't come with a warranty, Mike.
Oh,
God.
Good Lord.
That's kind of it, too, for that storyline, I guess.
That storyline was so dumb. It was so dumb. They shouldn't have been on the boat.
Tina walks into the sock hop and quickly gets the hell out of there because she knows that she screwed it up completely.
It's like, oh, this is terrible. Yeah.
Speaking of Tina's creations, poor Brian is stuck listening to Stubing drone on. What room is that? Is that Stubing's office?
And I think it was supposed to be the bridge.
Okay.
Like how he's saying this is where I steer from, but they never showed it from this angle ever. It wasn't a two-tiered thing before. It was just one.
Right. It almost looks like a souped up office more than a scaled down bridge.
Yeah, I didn't know. It's a weird set. I think they had to build a bridge set, but I don't think they really know what to do with the set yet. Because wouldn't there be like people there?
They just had another person.
Yeah, that's
there was like one guy. It almost seemed like it was air traffic control.
Weird
set.
You'd figure there'd be more going on with a ship of this size navigating at night.
Maybe Love Plane was filming.
Yeah, it was weird. Love Plane. They were busy. They're double booked.
Well, this important aviation office is interrupted by a 8-year-old child and then Julie. And she kind of comes in for no real reason. I think she just comes in so Stubing can ask her why she's not the sock hop. But but she ended up taking Brian, but I don't know that she came in to get Brian. Like, I think that was just a coincidence.
Could
but
be.
Anyway, that's what happens.
Hmm.
Stubing was surprised she wasn't at the sock hop because he's an idiot.
Sock hop. Ugh.
A lot of deck action now.
Yeah.
Philip finds Nora and he tries again to get that marriage proposal accepted. Perkins shows up and finally gets his resignation accepted.
There we go. 2 birds, 2 stones.
He doesn't even really get through it though before Phil's like, hit the bricks.
Yeah, no kidding. He could not. I wasn't surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he just walked right off deck into the water. Didn't even break stride. I'm done.
What would be funny if he if Philip kind of wheelchaired him off like R2D2 tipped C3PO off of Jabba's barge before it exploded.
Put a cow catcher on him and just push him.
Yeah. And then they have to pull Perkins out feet first.
Didn't fall from the Sarlacc pit. Yeah.
We're on our way.
Here we go.
After all that happens, Nora somehow softens on having to take care of her daughter, and she's cool with getting married. So all's well that ends well. Except for Julie. So on the other side of the deck, Brian asks Julie if you can send mail from the ship, and she's like, of course, why? And Brian's like, I want to send something to my dad. And she's like, silly boy, you'll see him when you get home. No, Dad doesn't live with us anymore.
Uh-oh.
Twist.
Wait, don't you
Julie is
Julie.
Now Julie feels bad. So in Stubing's office, Tina's feeling bad about her horrible sock hop idea.
Worst
she's devastated.
Sock hop ever.
Julie shows up to apologize for the actual failure that Tina is at marriage.
That just sounds terrible. Oh, Tina, I'm sorry. You are a bit of a mess. I feel so much better about myself.
It looks like the grass is not greener on either side for you.
It's terrible. Like, you're just like, oh, this is okay.
They go back and forth. They basically both apologize for being mean. It's a classic Julie scenario where she gets mad for like a little and then ends up apologizing at the end. But Julie didn't do anything wrong here. And she went back and apologized immediately. I don't think she did anything wrong. This is really Stubing's fault.
I agree 100%. He did this.
Yeah. Gopher tries. I thought this was funny. Gopher tries and fails to get the party going. He's like, all right, I gotta get this baby popping. So he tries one like 50s DJ kind of thing, and nobody cares.
Nobody cared.
And it's just them kind of dancing for a little bit of Paddington Boat this week.
Yeah, a little bit. I agree. Which I'm fine with. I'm fine with that.
Well, they're one in here, so.
Yeah.
Act 5, thank God. Robin and Mike are walking down the steps. Apparently they're back together, smooching all the way down. Great.
Don't know why, but okay. Enjoy your rocky
Don't know that anything really got settled either, right? Like the whole thing is that Mike thinks that relationships don't work ever because you can't get it in writing that they will. Like, whatever.
It's just the dumbest thing. I tell you what, you were barking up the wrong tree, Robin. You know, you need to.
Yeah, that's not going to work out.
No.
Perkins got a new job, but twist, it's with the Texas guy that Daphne is with now. So now he's got to serve Daphne. Oh, Perkins.
Oh, what a small world we live in.
Tina and Brian head out as the two former Stubing mentees leave with their friendship back on track. Tina thanks the crew and then makes sure to give Meryl a specific thank you for, quote, your understanding.
Understanding what? I would say the misunderstanding.
Well,
or like
first
your
of all,
lack of...
is it the understanding that the sock hop's up? Because that's Stubing's fault.
That sock hop was fucking terrible. Yeah.
If it's anything else, it's creepy. And this goes back to something we saw a lot last year. If you remember, Stubby winner Tony Santini profusely thanked the captain after being forced to work over Thanksgiving and pay for it. So it's like this This was a very last season Stubing's the Emperor of the Sea episode, which I never liked.
No, me neither.
Yeah. And then finally, Brian drew a picture of the whole crew, and it's lousy. And he says he draws them like he sees them. Freeze frame. That's it. And that's episode 2 of this season. Totals and a recap. We were on a streak of 4 very good episodes in a row. We are not on a streak of 5 very good episodes on a row.
This is not one of them. No.
This is our first bad episode since the Terrible 20s, interestingly enough. So I don't remember the last time we had 4 good ones in a row, so we really can't complain. And I will say, this is what happens when you build a little equity. I didn't like this episode, but I didn't either. I didn't hate it.
It wasn't. It just was. Yeah,
nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, I agree.
It's going. You know what it's going to be? We're going to sit here in like March next year, and we're going to be getting ready for the Stubbies, and you're just going to be like, "Oh, right, that episode."
Yep. This episode is not going to.
No, it's as unmemorable an episode as we maybe have ever done.
Would you say that there are 0 Stubby nominees in this episode?
Probably. I'd be surprised if the olds.
Well, Adam Rich didn't do anything.
No, he wasn't good. Yeah,
look at the olds from last week. Look at Lauren Green.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
and Audrey Lindley did last week.
Right.
You can't. So touch that.
I don't think so. And on the flip side, nothing. The only person who's got a chance is, and I don't think this will happen, is like Daphne could be like the worst or something like that. Or biggest horn dog, I guess. But
it's not she didn't even do enough to.
No. I would probably be pretty. Put it this way: if there are, then the season was not good.
Yeah, let's hope. Let's hope this is not the best of anything.
So, I think we kind of decided that even though we don't always put 2-parters in, that was good enough last week that it will be. So we are currently best episode was last week. Worst episode was this week, and we'll see how long those stay. This was hard. Captain of the Week.
Man, I tell you what, Walk the Plank was so much easier. Just based on, God, this is not easy. I'm gonna say Philip Schaefer.
Yeah.
In a lean week, because I didn't know who else to give it to. There was no one else I really. And I'm not saying Philip Schaefer really deserves it.
No.
But he's the lesser of the many evils of this episode.
I had the exact same thing. The only thing I even came up with otherwise was the crew in the sock hop.
Right. Something. Right. Which is
such a but I mean, it was
the 35 seconds.
Yeah.
It's
just
it wasn't a banner episode.
No, it was hard. It was actually hard to come up with
it was
potential candidates.
Yeah, think of something positive about this episode and you're like,
seriously. But again, it is funny because usually when they're this bad we hate them, but it was just
it wasn't even hateable because there wasn't enough to even register.
I'm almost not mad though, because last week was so good and it was the season premiere that especially if next week is good, then I'll be like, okay, that makes total sense. Makes total sense that you did that. Yeah, so
I'm fine with it, but I do agree with you. We're kind of spoiled, after the 4 because we're like, but this we knew it was going to happen. I didn't hate it; it just didn't register.
I would bet we hadn't had 4 in a row since literally the first 10 episodes that we did.
I agree.
I can't imagine we would have.
Well, we were due. You don't want to go into the playoffs without losing a game. You got to get a loss out of the way. You know what I mean?
Oh, right. Because I totally expect us to have 24 out of 25 great episodes this season.
You know me.
Mr. Positive.
That's
Walk the plank. Worst of the week.
Oh, come on. It's Stubing. And I don't even mean that in a funny way.
Nope. You're right.
He's just a scumbag this week.
Yeah.
Just the crushes and this and stirring the pot and just insensitivity and just.
I don't think he should. it's probably more the princess's fault, although you could see him totally like volunteering himself into that job. He shouldn't have been the cruise director trainer. That's insane to me.
No, that's nuts. That's nuts. Be like, how'd you go from that to a captain? Like, because you're tremendously overqualified.
I think
even
he
specifically qualified.
Don't you think he was the captain?
I don't know why.
Cruise director trainee?
No, I don't think. I just don't. I can't imagine those are completely.
So do you
different.
think it's okay? So he leaves the hospital boat in the war. Then he
talking about after his D-Day experience, right?
Then he does some boating. He does enough boating to avoid
and drinking
to avoid Stacy.
Right.
But he's only been with the princess 5 years, right?
Maybe he was suspended for killing those children when he was drunk driving.
Well, don't forget he killed Vicky's adopted father too, with that ricin.
Right, oh boy. Oh, what do those stamps on the side of the boat mean? Nothing. Don't worry about that. Yeah, it was not good, my friend.
Special mention for all the other terribles: Daphne, Mike.
They can all walk the plank, as far as
maybe Adam Rich,
Robin.
Perkins.
Just go. Hey, Werner, go. All of you go.
Anyway, that's Tittles and Recap for this week.
Wow. Plugs. Hitting season Patreon, absolutely hammered. Crack open a beer and enjoy a weekly Phillies happy hour with Chris Jones, Justin Clue, and our very own Mike Robertson. Check out Absolutely Hammered on the Hitting Season Patreon. You can find us everywhere you find your audio podcast: iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Podcast Addict, Amazon Music, Podchaser, Player FM. Listen Notes, Deezer, and my new favorite as of last episode, Pocket Casts.
Oh, right, the little pocket casts.
Little pocket casts. If you have little
check
ears,
the numbers, see if we've passed Deezer yet for this.
I hope so. It's if you're a teddy bear hamster and you love the Love Boat. Also, if you could do us a favor and leave us a review, it really goes a long way. We really, really appreciate that. You can check out our video podcast on YouTube. Again, hit that subscribe button and leave us a review. You can also find us on Instagram and Facebook. Look for weekly reels and updates. You know what time it is, Mike. It's time to check the old mailbag. I feel like we need some sort of sound effect for this, but
all right.
We got an email. Email says titled
or like a mailman hat.
That's what I should do. Love your podcast. I watched The Love Boat. It's an original run. I was about 9 years old when it debuted, and my parents considered it quite risque, but I would sneak and watch it. Love your podcast. You guys make me laugh out loud. Keep up the great work, Marianne. So thank you, Marianne. It's lovely to get some feedback from our listeners. Risque, huh?
I could see that being considered risque. Yeah, especially. 9. Well, yeah, and you know what's funny? I feel like we haven't had a really crazy risque one, but like some of those season 1 ones were wild.
Yeah, things were getting a little crazy in some of those episodes, but yeah, I could see that. You can. What's that? Were you gonna say something?
No, nothing too risque for me.
Nothing too risque. You can email us at theloveboatproject@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. I did look ahead, Mike, to our next episode. First of all, Doc is sick.
Oh, no.
Literally, Doc is sick. Uh-oh. We meet a meddling former dance partner. Didn't we do that with Disco? But maybe not. Maybe it's different.
This is ballet, I believe.
Oh, well, I wonder if...
completely different.
I wonder if there's mention of Stubing's nephew. You know.
Courtney
ballayer. Yeah. And a stranger accepts an invitation to go on the cruise. Huh. So we'll see.
I'm also very excited because one of the guest stars next week is Susan Sullivan, who in and of herself is not that exciting, but she is the first cast member of a show with one of the greatest theme songs of all time. Prepare for me to sing it a lot next week.
It's not the Ropers.
It's not the Ropers. Don't worry about it. That'll be for next week. Little teaser.
Right. Something to look forward to.
Well, that's it for episode 2. We will be back next week. We can't win them all. So thanks for sticking with us on what was a very repetitive, mundane, boring episode, but we've seen worse.
The project continues.
And we will see worse.
That's right.
But hopefully not next week.
No, I feel good about next week. We're going to get, don't know why I feel this way. I just feel like, we're going to get back. We're going to get back on a hot streak. These episodes are going to be hilarious.
We've been lucky with 3s. If you remember, last season's best episode was episode 3.
That's true.
So,
and episode 3 from the first season, I remember being very strong as well.
Yeah, that was Mike Brady shooting people.
Yes, Mike Brady shooting people. Whiskey sours. That's right.
Yeah.
All right.
So hopefully third time's a charm. Get it?
A charm.
Anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks, Mike. And we will talk to you all next week.